in Alma on June 9th, 1995. Morgan and other children at the park ran across a field catching fireflies, and moments later Morgan disappeared.
Perhaps more than ever, Arkansans are worrying about what may have happened to Morgan Nick on June the 9th, 1995.
This is where the nightmare began Friday night, at a baseball field a block from the Alma Police Department. Colleen Nick turned her back on her 6-year-old daughter for just several moments. When she turned around, Morgan was gone.
It's not a cold case. A lot of people refer to it. It's an old case, but not cold. We still get leads all the time on it. We're working them constantly.
Some periods during the day, you're more hopeful that she'll turn up any minute. Some periods of the day, it's hard to stay hopeful.
People don't come here because they believe Morgan's not coming home. The people that show up are the people that believe, and so it's awesome.
I want to ask everyone to continue to have faith, to be faithful, and to continue to believe and have faith that Morgan will be returned home safely.
Tonight's Believe for Morgan rally is truly about believing. So many here tonight have faith that Morgan's alive. Many believe because Morgan's mother does.
We're here to stand on our faith and our hope and believe for Morgan and show the world that we're going to fight for her, and we're going to bring her home, and we're going to end this nightmare because she doesn't deserve this.
It's just not a time to crucify somebody before we know anything. I obtained an attorney the other day and I heard him being interviewed about it, and it's probably the smartest thing he could do under the circumstances.
In an affidavit just released, police say a 36-year-old deaf man from Crawford County was videotaped saying he remembers going to the Little League ball field in Alma. He then remembers raping Morgan Nick, waking up with blood on his clothes, then burning the bloody clothes after hearing about the abduction on the news the next day. The document went on to say that the suspect, quote, felt that I did it, unquote, referring to Morgan Nick. The 6-year-old girl was last seen emptying sand from her shoe at this Alma ballpark. Now police may have found the first evidence of her existence since that day. 22 items were seized from the suspect's home and vehicle. Among them, a pink toothbrush, a knife, a wood chisel, one long reddish blonde hair, a roll of duct tape with hair fibers, and several items with dark reddish stains. They've all been sent to the FBI for evaluation, and until those results are released, Alma Police Chief Russell White says no charges will be filed and the suspect will be able to walk free.
Catch up on leads. Right now our leads are somewhere over 1,600 to 1,700 investigative leads to cover. Of course, we've got a backlog. We can't cover them that fast. We're anticipating maybe some things to increase that number, and we just need to catch up on.
Among the many leads police have followed up on are tips that a man fitting the suspect's description has been seen in Van Buren County. So far, those leads have turned up empty. A reward of $7,500 is also being offered by Alma businesses. Hopefully, the case will come to a quick close now that the reward is being offered.
Officials initially searched this property. Authorities only had a search warrant for a home on the property, that home belonging to a person of interest in the Morgan Nick case since the investigation started back in 1995. The home no longer exists, and the person of interest is currently incarcerated.
We've never been able to tie him directly to it, and we've never been able to clear him from it.
In December of 2017, authorities in Oklahoma searched an area in Spiro, hoping to find information leading to further developments in Morgan's case, but their search was unsuccessful. And just last year, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released a new age progression photo of what Morgan might look like at the age of 31.
A person of interest was named in the Morgan Nick disappearance. And while he died more than 2 decades ago, Morgan's mother, Colleen, is not giving up hope her daughter will come home.
Tell me that Morgan did not survive, then I'm going to fight every day for her to come home. She loved cats. She loved apples. She thought that bubble gum was a food group. You know, she was a first grader with her whole life in front of her. Morgan, at 6 years old, her dream was to grow up to be a circus performer and a doctor. People really just pulled Morgan into their hearts, you know, made her part of their families. And all these people are still fighting for Morgan with us.
Right now, the FBI is asking for the public's help. They want information on Billy Jack Lincks, a man who was arrested 2 months after she disappeared for the attempted abduction of a young girl in Van Buren County, just 8 miles away from the same baseball fields Morgan was last seen. Lincks died in prison in 2000, and the FBI wants anyone who knew him to give them a call.
It could be the information that brings Morgan home to us.
Truck with a white camper shell that was allegedly involved. Since then, we, along with allied local, state, and federal law enforcement officials, have spent thousands of hours working more than 10,000 leads in this case. One of the early persons of interest in this case was Billy Jack Lincks. Lincks was arrested for sexual solicitation of a child on August 29, 1995 in Van Buren, Arkansas. On that occasion, Lincks tried to lure an 11-year-old girl into his red pickup truck. This was roughly 12 weeks after Morgan's disappearance. Police questioned Lincks on August 31, 1995. He denied any knowledge of Morgan's abduction and at that time appeared to be truthful. Investigators at that time moved on. In July 2019, then Alma Police Department Lieutenant Brett Hartley decided to go back to the beginning of this case, to review the case from the beginning. During that process, Lieutenant Hartley spoke with an individual who provided information inspiring him to revisit the possibility that Billy Jack Lincks might be Morgan's abductor. Investigators worked to locate the truck Lincks owned in 1995, and we were able to contact the current owner of that truck. We determined that the owner had no knowledge of Lincks. He gave permission for us to examine the truck for evidence at that time. To that end, investigators arranged for the FBI evidence response team to examine the truck, and they did so on July the 28th, 2020. Among the collection methods the team used was that of vacuuming various locations within the vehicle. In doing so, they produced several vacuum canisters containing various forms of matter, including hair, from the vehicle. Upon completion of the collection process, the FBI retained custody of the evidence. In July 2023, Detective Sean Taylor with the Alma Police Department learned of advanced analysis processes that's available at Othram Laboratory, which is based in Texas. Detective Taylor conferred with a representative of the lab and learned, among other things, they had been successful in developing DNA profiles from hair with or without roots. On September 11, 2023, Detective Taylor conferred with an FBI agent to discuss the possibility of sending this trace evidence to Othram Labs. On September 27, 2023, Detective Taylor received a package containing this evidence from the FBI, which was originally from the red truck. On December 1st, 2023, Detective Taylor sent this evidence to Othram Laboratory for testing. And it's at that time that I wish to express my sincere thanks to the Arkansas State Police for providing the funding that was necessary to perform this analysis. On September 27, 2024, Othram Laboratory sent a report to Detective Taylor stating in essence that they determined that the hair contained in the evidence that was submitted for analysis was that of Colleen Nick, one of her siblings, or one of her children. We spent the next few days doing follow-up interviews with members of the Nick family, which revealed that none of them knew Billy Jack Lincks and that none of them had been in a truck that was similar to this one. The bottom line in this is that the physical evidence collected from the truck that Lincks owned when Morgan was abducted strongly indicates that Morgan had been in this truck. Billy Jack Lincks died in the year 2000. I think the most important thing here is Morgan is still missing. But we've reached a point where we can concentrate on one suspect to determine the circumstances surrounding Morgan's abduction. How was she taken from the ball field? What happened next? Did Lincks have help in abducting Morgan or concealing his crime all these years? And where is Morgan now? I can tell you today that this investigation is not over. It is ongoing and active. In the wake of this development, we're working to expand our understanding of Lincks and his activities. This includes, for example, additional interviews and re-interviews of known associates, and locating any additional physical evidence. This is where we need your help. We ask that every member of the public who might have information that can help answer these questions contact us at 1-800-THE-LOST, which is the number for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's 1-800-843-5678.
It might be hard to spot a child who's missing, but it's not hard for any of us to spot a child in trouble. And what we do with that could change the course of the child's life. When you commit an offense against a child, you've done it before and you'll do it again.
There have been an army of supporters and advocates and heroes who have rallied to uncover the truth about Morgan's disappearance, and you see those people here in this room today. And what I have to say about Billy Jack Lincks is that he stole Morgan from me. He stole her from her dad. And he stole her from Logan and Taryn. But he didn't see that he could never win. Because our love for Morgan, her memory and her voice outlasted his life. And that love continues to shine. Her heart, Morgan's heart, shines on. And I would love to look her in the eye someday and be able to say, I never gave up on you. I have always believed that you would come home.